And welcome to our middle of the month Shares a Waffle. It's December. Christmas is in the air. And we've got some special guests to share this month's Share a Waffle with you. Ben and Becca are joining me as we are joined by Neil and Karen, who are also known as Portwood Travel. It's good to have you on the show, guys.
Hello, thank you.
There's a really important bit to introduce you guys to, is the fact that I think you've listened to every single one of our podcasts that we've actually ever produced, which is, obviously why we've got you on the show, because there's very few people who've listened to everything that we've done. So well done for that.
Especially the first couple.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sticking with it.
Yeah. So for persistence more than anything else, we've got Karen and Neil on the show for this month's Share a Waffle.
We know the show better than us.
Yeah, exactly. But before we talk about Portwood Travel and loads and loads of other things, I think it's only fair that we subject you to that middle of the month bit of turmoil that I think we've made everybody else endure, so we're not letting you away from it. And one of the nicest things I would always say is you can both have a different answer. It's not like Mr. and Mrs. You don't have to have the same answer. Okay, so go with a heart. We won't hold it against you much. But we've got our Disney carousel of questions.
I don't know about you guys, but when you've been married for quite a while, you tend to start to think of the same things anyway. But maybe we will have a different opinion on a few. We'll see.
You never know. Okay. So I'm going to start you off. Question 1. What's your favourite park?
It's changed over the years for me. I used to, I still obviously absolutely love Magic Kingdom. And to this day, I still do. But as I've got older, my favourite park is actually now Epcot. Yeah. So, and the other two are very, 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 very close behind.
I think what you might find with this is because we've been going for quite some time, and we've sort of seen a lot of changes to all of Walt Disney World. I think a lot of our answers probably have, and I'm sure yours have, from when you first started doing the show and answering these questions, your answers will have changed probably now. Yeah.
But very much so.
I actually echo. I've always been a fan of Epcot, even in the very early days. I totally understood why Karen didn't really like it. But my answer, and I'm probably going to do this quite a few times, but if you said to me I'd only got one park to go into, it would always be Magic Kingdom. If I could only ever go into one again, it would be Magic Kingdom. But as that's not the question, Epcot, without a doubt, is my favourite park. I love I'm fortunate that we haven't been while it's been a building site.
Yeah, exactly.
Heartbreaking to say, but it has given us so much pleasure, I think, over the years. The meeting up with you guys, John and Alison, having and fireworks, everything. It's a superb place. So
it is around the world. And also, just to make mention, you guys as well, because you've been into all of the pavilions around World Showcase. Unlike a certain waffler, that we continue to hold that fact against it until we get a picture from every pavilion on her next trip.
Yeah, bless her.
She will.
Even though she needs to learn Photoshop quite quickly. I'm not sure.
Oh dear.
Okay, I'll do the second question. So, number 2, ride that you hate.
Oh, I like it, but it doesn't like me, and that is the Star Tours.
Okay.
I love being chucked upside down, inside out, all of that. But Star Tours, I come off it and a little bit, and it's the same with the old Back to the Future one, which is now something that I just can't do those. I want to do them.
Is it like the 3D thing that doesn't help, do you think?
I think there's just too much going on, and I come off it feeling a little bit seasick, really, I suppose is the only way to put it. And I do it. I always do Star Tours just once. Just once in my trip. Have to do it, and then just have to go and sit down and have a coffee. 10 minutes outside. Yeah. That's mine.
I'm thinking really hard because I don't think there's anything that I hate. There's probably things that are down the pecking order. I tried to hate Small World.
I drag him on it.
No, it's not that. I mean, one year I did actually decide I wasn't going to go on it, and I stood outside and waited, and I actually felt really, really guilty to Walt more than anything, and it was like, I regretted it, and ever since then I've always had to go on it and endure it. But I think if I was going to, I mean, I don't know, I can't really class this as a ride, but as a show. But the Tiki Rooms is something that I just, that one is probably at the bottom of the list for something. Technicality there because it's not a ride, but I can't stand it in that sense. So a bit of a lame one, but there's no ride that I hate. So
I think it's a difficult one to choose from as well. There's so many ones that are you'd probably aren't always on your must do. They're always at the bottom of the list, and they're always sort of joined together. So ours are definitely Small World. Yeah. Or at least mine definitely is. You don't like Dumbo.
Mine's changed, I think, since I did that list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I think it just changes as you develop with the parks as well, isn't it? And all the time.
Okay, so question 3: most overrated snack.
Oh, for me, I've only tried it once. I had to do it, and it was probably at Christmas time when we did it, and it was the turkey leg. Sorry.
To me, I don't think that's overrated on the basis that everybody just hates it. So you can't rate something and hate it. But I know it now. I know what you mean.
Loads of people, and it's the smell. Yeah. It smells so appealing. And then I was really let down. Me.
I think for me, and again, going on the overrated element on something that you like, but it's not. It's always going to be the Mickey Premium Bar. I have to have one every single time, multiple, but it is overrated. Like anything that you make into a Mickey shape, is always going to end up being a premium price for a product that is nothing. But it's part and parcel of being there. But it is very much an overrated snack, isn't it?
I think it's the price for the premium bar that puts a lot of people off now. It's $6.
It's
you go to
$6 for
is it Walmart or Target? They've got a box of 4 or 6 for $4.95.
Yeah, it's a lot of money for what is essentially a choc ice.
Yeah,
you're right.
I think there's so much choice now with so many different snacks that are like limited release, and so it's a favourite, isn't it?
Well, I did get the hand dipped one on our last trip.
Yeah,
that's why they put the price up to $6 because people will pay it.
Yeah, it's a tradition.
It is. It's one we will continue, I'm sure.
Yeah, we will.
Today because you're there.
Yeah.
Here we go. Next, really good question. What's your favourite transportation mode at Walt Disney World?
It's easy for me, and I'm going to go first on this one. It's the monorail. To me, there is no complete trip until I've been on it. I remember going back maybe 5 or 6 years ago on one trip. We realised towards the end of the trip that we just hadn't been on it, and I was then panicking that I wasn't going to get on it. But I have to do them on it. It's the minute that you hear the Spanish. No. It's part. And I always think back to my first time going on it, being a bit of amazed by it, going through the contemporary, that sort of whole experience of, what are we doing? This is mad. So I'm sure there are better forms of transport, but to me, that completes part of my holiday being on that.
Yeah.
Don't like you.
I do love. There it is.
That's the phrase.
I do love the boats across to Magic Kingdom. Obviously, pre-COVID, you just don't want to stand
packed. Mind you, every mode of transport's packed. Yeah.
I suppose. Yeah. I just like. I don't know. I like to see the castle just as you. I just think
the way it opens up.
Yeah, and I do like to do that the first day we go into Magic Kingdom. I try and push for that.
But we also try and do that as our last. That's our leaving Magic Kingdom as well on our last day is just seeing that castle for as long as possible until you can't see it. So
I can't put my back to it at all.
It kind of makes that going away that little bit more difficult as well because it's slower. and you get that lingering last look, isn't it? And you just don't want to leave it all behind. You know, I think we've sort of talked about this before, and it's just like you've got that real sort of that golf ball sized lump in your throat, and you don't want to go. And sometimes actually, the resort monorail just whizzing you back round to the DC is sometimes a little bit easier.
Painful.
Yeah.
One year we actually missed the monorail and the boat.
Oh, it was that late?
Because it was that late, and we were literally escorted out of Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, they put us on a bus thing, didn't they?
And they said, we'll get you back to your car park, but you have to go on the bus. And I literally, the security guards said, go. And I'm like, in a minute. Really, they were literally locking the gate behind us. It was,
Oh, wow.
I'm that person, sorry.
Okay. Question 5. Favourite table service restaurant?
A little difficult one for us, this, and I think maybe some of this might come up a little bit more in a bit, but we haven't spent a massive amount of time staying on site. We have done, but not like, I hear lots of you guys. So we have sort of then limited how many times we've eaten on site in some of the places, but of the places we have eaten, I think Tapanida, we absolutely loved it in there. I'd probably stick at that, to be fair, as an experience. We also, she'll not thank me for sort of outing her here, but we have quite a fussy daughter eating wine. And to be fair, in there with chicken with rice and such, it also appeases that. So all experience for the family then work. But I think
that was my favourite.
We have had some nice meals elsewhere. And again, sorry to sort of digress, I'm just thinking, going back many, many years, having obviously a daughter, being able to go into Cinderella table, what's it called?
Royal Table.
That as well as an experience. I'm not saying it's the greatest restaurant, food, but just as a package to take, your princess in there and to sort of see that whole
it was magical.
The way that they deal with it, to me, that's probably right up there.
Totally.
Many years ago, but right up there.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the experience. It doesn't matter sometimes if the food isn't as good. Sometimes if the experience is better, it elevates it.
Yeah.
We have got lots on our to-do list.
Yeah. Never goes last.
It keeps growing, doesn't it?
Yes.
They keep announcing more restaurants and more refurbs and more menu changes.
Yeah. I think that's the nice thing, though, is that you never feel as if you're totally done, and I think that's the good thing. It's why we all yearn to be back, and we always keep going back, is because it's never the same twice, and you make of it what you want, and I think that's always
the only downside is if you've got a favourite and they've completely changed the menu.
Yeah. That's always a bit annoying.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, question 6. Resort you haven't stayed at but want to more than anything else on earth?
Oh, it's got to be Grand Floridian. Yes. I have told the children when they get married, that's where we're staying and that's where we're getting married. Well, I know.
I think for me, we've actually had 2 holidays cancelled through this pandemic, as many of you all have. And in both instances, we were scheduled to stay at the yacht club. So I think for me, that's where I would now, I've got to say, is at the top of my list because it's been robbed twice.
Yeah.
And I need to satisfy that. So as much as the Grand Flow is beautiful,
that's dreams.
The question, what is it? But I think for me right now, it has to be Yacht and Beach or Yacht Club, just to get back what has been robbed.
Absolutely.
We had the same feeling for ours, didn't we?
Yeah,
we
definitely.
In the end, after, was it 4 cancelled trips, we decided to not book Riviera because we thought it was jinxed.
Like really.
So it was like, okay, we'll book anything but Riviera, and it worked out.
Didn't work. We still had to cancel the one after it.
That's true. But yeah.
The Riviera is beautiful if you can get that there.
Yeah. And the good thing is, it doesn't matter about your resort. Resort hopping is so easy to do now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, what's your favourite car park?
We will agree on this one.
Hey.
Yeah.
Well, no.
I don't know.
Again, obviously, because I've watched every podcast that you've done of these. This question, as I've heard it, so many times, and I've listened. I think for aesthetics, to me, there's only one car park at Hollywood Studios. I just think the palm trees, the setting of it. Yeah. I've got a lovely panorama picture that I took a good few years ago now. We got an early breakfast, one of the Toy Story things, and we were there at around about 5:45, probably the first car in. So an empty car park on a pano with the palm trees and the sunrise, and that's always sort of stuck with me. I think where you're going is probably the multi-stories at Disney Springs, just simply because of the system, green and red. And I can't believe that isn't anywhere else. I've never seen it anywhere else. I'm sure it is, but the technology in there to see down a road, to see how many hours does that save you going up and down and round?
Oh, so you're right. Yes.
But two different reasons, I think, on the car parks.
I didn't click it the first time, and he's like, "I have nothing down there." I'm like, "How do you know you've not even looked?" Do you know? And he goes, "3 down here," and I was like, "Oh, this is
exciting." I'm surprised they haven't put that anywhere else. It just makes so much sense.
Oh, it certainly does.
Yeah. Brilliant concept.
Okay, typhoon, blizzard, or volcano bay?
Neither. I've actually gone to Disney Springs when the guys have gone to those parks. So
doesn't like getting wet.
Yeah.
Doesn't like having a shower.
I just don't do the water run. I'm a waste of space in those. Throw me on a roller coaster, or anything. You
haven't got a water ride though.
No, I don't like water rides either.
For the same reason. Yeah. I think for me, this is one of those answers that's definitely changed from our first ever trip pre-kids to taking babies to taking, young children, teenagers, etc., etc. My favourite one will have changed several times, and of those three at the moment, I'd say Typhoon Lagoon is at the bottom of my list. I'm not a massive sand person, and I also don't like the wave pool. I think it's just brutal.
Yeah.
Feeding that.
Blizzard Beach will have been my favourite for many years because I think it's just a fantastic family park. I think the family raft ride is so much better than Typhoon Lagoon. More for the little kids. There's plenty for older. But hands down, I think Volcano Bay is just something else. I'm surprised you haven't got Aquatica in there as well because it's a very good water park for many years. But
Volcano Bay looks so impressive, but my problem I have with it is it just looks so close to the I-4.
Yeah, not as close as Wet n Wild to International Ride used to be.
Yeah,
the rides were over it, but now I just think the theming of Volcano Bay is something else. It's always very busy, but
I'm quite happy in that park because I'll just stay on the sun lounger while they all go off and do their.
Near the parks.
Because Springs shopping.
Yeah.
We only ever spend like a couple of hours in a water park.
Yeah, water parks generally are a bit useless for us. We don't spend enough time there.
We do class them as a rest day when we do our itinerary.
Yeah, I think most people do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to. Now we just tend to sit by the pool at the hotel.
To be fair, I think the majority of sort of more of the modern resorts these days around, they've got fantastic facilities within. So, depending obviously on your ticket and whether you've got, entry into it, I understand why people wouldn't necessarily go. There's plenty of other options, isn't there?
Okay. Question 9: Galaxy's Edge or Diagon Alley?
Ooh.
I'll go.
Go on.
I think for me, I'm not a fan particularly of either film franchise. I'm not really massively into, I think you've probably seen some of my comments when you guys going about Marvel and things. I'm not into sort of the sci-fi or the mystery or etc. But I think for me, it's Diagon Alley simply because it was the first thing there that changed massively, very in the theming way, the immersive way, and to go in. I mean, I have watched a couple of the first films. So we tend to do this when we go with something that, like, sorry, I'm cutting across now, Pandora and things like that. We've never watched that. You have to watch it sometimes just to then be able to go and experience it, fully. So I've watched a few of the Harry Potter films, and I just think that, as I say, the way they did that breakthrough going down there was superb. That said, Galaxy's Edge is phenomenal. I mean, we managed to get in, fortunately, on a pass holder day in the August of, what will it be, 19, I think. We managed to get in there on a day, and we loved it. We absolutely had a fantastic time. But for me, it's
that way. Yeah, it's that way around for me as well. I've read all the Harry Potter books, love all of that, and absolutely. I don't want to leave. I don't want to leave Harry Potter. I just want to stay there when I go to uni. But I was blown away by Star Wars. I must admit. So it would be that way round for me.
I don't think without Hogsmeade and Diagon Alley we wouldn't have had Galaxy's Edge.
No,
I think it's given Disney the sort of competition. It's like you need to be looking at this route, and we wouldn't have like Smuggler's Run. Or,
I don't think we'd have Pandora either.
No, or not the level it was at.
Yeah, I'd agree with you there. I think, as I say, they moved the benchmark, didn't they? And then everybody else has had to sort of shuffle in. And at the end of the day, it's good for us all.
Yeah, that's true.
There
we go. Next question's an interesting one. Early morning or late night park visit?
I'll go on this one. I am an early bird. I would be in there before rope drop. That's me. That's me. Yeah. First thing.
I'm right on the fence with this because it's both for me, without a shadow of a doubt. And many occasions it's been one to the other. Yeah. And open to close. But I think, fortunately, the way that we've sort of developed our Orlando trips over the years, we've gone for longer and longer and longer each time. And I think over the sort of amount of time we're there, we'll probably even it up and do as many early mornings and rope drops as we probably will do. There's nothing better than getting in the park when the numbers are less and doing some of the attractions, the headliners, and then getting out. But equally, every single park just comes alive at night, doesn't it? And to see the way that it changes at dusk into evening and the fireworks shows, etc. And one thing for me for the last probably about 15, 16 years, I got into photography purely down to Disney and nothing else. And fireworks are a massive part of that for me. So I have to say late night for that, otherwise I won't get the pictures, the empty mark pictures and things. So again, it's a right on the fence. I mean, if I'm being pushed, I'd probably just edge it to the evening. But
our very last day we're in it.
Always. It's a full day.
Full day. No breaks. Plenty of coffee.
It is a difficult choice, isn't it? I think we mix through our trip, don't we?
Yeah.
It's trying to especially those first few days when you're jet lagged.
Night owl.
Make the most of the jet lag first few days. Get up there nice and early.
Yeah. I think I mean that's the thing, isn't it? If you're up and awake, then there's nothing better to do than go. But equally, as the holiday moves on into second, third, fourth week, then putting the alarm on to get up to get is more and more difficult. One of a different kind of get regimented then, isn't it? So
Okay. Right. What's your favourite other podcast or vlogger about Disney?
There's a few. Well, not a few, but
there is for me. I mean, every single day without fail, I will. I'm a YouTube watcher rather than a TV watcher, so I tend to find that every single day I am watching one or multiple Disney channels. I'm not a massive podcast listener.
Only one.
Only one, genuinely. I mean, that's not saying that out of any other thing.
Yeah.
That I don't spend a huge amount of time in the car to listen to other podcasts. Yours is convenient now because it's always on YouTube. But for me, I mean, you can't look past Tim and Jen.
Yeah.
We've watched them for absolutely ever. We like.
The school teacher. I never know the names.
Result TV.
Yeah. I like it when they do live as well. And then the Wafflers friends.
Yeah. But they're always on like that. It's almost.
We will watch their lunchtime on. We will. I'll put the lunchtime live on here if I'm home. And
I like things like I don't know. There's JoJo's World and Kyle Palo. Is it two cast members? Oiby, I don't know whether you've come across him, Roy.
I think so, yeah.
They're a really nice couple.
Yeah.
I don't know, I could really Magical News Live. It goes on and on, but as I say, every single day I'll have somebody on. Yeah. And I'm usually texting John saying, have you seen?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And I'm going, new one for me.
Braden at Mickey Views as well is, I think I like the way he's sort of setting himself apart a little bit in the sense of he's very informative. He puts a lot of effort into facts and figures and background. My only concern with him at the moment is that he's getting very anti-Disney in a lot of ways. And I think in the end it's his chosen path, but I get it. We're not all happy with a lot of things and sometimes you do need to speak out, but I think sometimes he's going to get...
Sometimes you've got to try and tread that line of like, okay, I'm getting my point across, but I can't be 100% negative.
At the end of the day, he's entitled to do what he wants with a channel that's to over 100,000 subs, and you can't say it's wrong, can you?
No.
So,
keep the magic or backstage detail.
I think for me, again, this has changed simply because you go repeatedly. And I think in the early days, it would have always been keep the magic. But I think the older you get, the kids get older, and you take on an awful lot more detail that you're seeing in front of your eyes. And I think backstage for me now is all the way. I'm more interested in how they create the magic, and we all get starstruck by the magic. Don't know about you.
When I did definitely keep the magic and
keep the magic or backstage.
Early days we were
sorry
keep the magic. No were we okay to
we do actually owe Katie a backstage tour because again one of the Christmas presents she had that was cancelled.
It was a 16th birthday because she had to be 16 to do it.
The Keys to the Kingdom. So whenever we can get back out there again, we will do Keys to the Kingdom.
Yeah, they're still waiting for tours to come back at the minute because they're still not doing them.
Not doing them, no.
Not at the minute, no.
I'm hoping they'll be back for when we go next.
Yeah, because we were supposed to have done it for our 30th. Gone to, was it Keys to the Kingdom?
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
When are you back out?
July.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
No dates set yet.
No. So possibly should be some family as well.
Yeah.
So that'd be nice.
Yeah. Excellent.
It's nice to get planning straight away.
So always got something in.
It's the only way to get rid of the blues. Another countdown.
Yeah.
And the jet lag.
Yeah.
Certainly is. Next one. On-site or off-site?
Oh. Mixture, both. Back in the day, we used to. Sorry, this is Minnie, by the way, who likes to. She likes to be involved in everything we do.
Checking us out.
Oh, she's checking you out. All our cats have got Disney names, by the way, so this is Minnie. Back in the day when you used to be able to book TimeShare. Sorry, my brain just went. We have a TimeShare. So we'd be in our TimeShare, but we would just take a little overnight bag and get everything settled into the TimeShare, take an overnight bag and do 1 or 2 nights on Disney, which then meant we could get all the fast passes booked for the whole of our stay and get, not cheat the system, but you could really use it to your benefit,
Yeah.
and then they stopped it. But we've still got a hit list of properties that we want to do, so we will still do that.
Again, I think this is an evolved question or an answer that in the early days would have been one thing and is now very much a different thing. And for me, it's all of it. I would never, ever dissuade anybody from doing any of it. And I know you've covered an awful lot about on-site, off-site. And I know one of the things that you haven't, I know we've discussed, John, but you haven't really, apart from DDC, you haven't really discussed TimeShare.
Yeah.
We've owned TimeShare for 22, 23 years. And it's massively worked for us. And we've made it work, but it's meant that it's given us an opportunity, as Karen said, to be able to kind of mix it. I love staying on Disney, but personally, I couldn't stay on Disney for probably more than 4 or 5 nights simply because it's too much for me.
Yep.
I love the freedom and the flexibility of what a villa brings. So for us, our trip might look like a week or 2 in the TimeShare. It might then be a week in the villa. It might be a few nights on Disney. It might be a cruise. But we would actually mix it. And then again, as Karen said, if we've got a block booked on TimeShare, we'll then go up to Universal for a couple of nights as well. And we know then we're just traveling very light and that everything is, taken care of back in the apartment. Yeah.
Just going back to that point, Neil, you made, because I seem to remember you sent me a message after we'd finished the Wafflers Wednesday where we were talking about DVC. We were previously talking about hotel stays prior to that. And I think you've hit upon something that I think as a group, we've not had a whole lot of experience, but your TimeShare in particular is in an absolutely amazing park because you're basically straight into you could be into Animal Kingdom within about 8 minutes from where your TimeShare is, which for anyone who's wanting to know where it is, you stay at Orange Lake on the 192.
That whole area now, as you know, as regulars know, it's such a busy district within itself now with the whole Margaritaville. And, I can remember, was it 2008, seeing a bit of earth being moved, and then we went back 6 months later and Target was built. And that sort of whole crossroads area there now is phenomenal. And that's obviously, we've been fortunate because when we bought in 1998, we had no clue that all that was happening. We just bought because it was so close to, we just fell in love with a lot of things, but it was so close to Disney, and it's been absolutely perfect for us. But there are, again, people, without going into too deep into TimeShare, I'm sure a lot of people have heard of RCI and Exchange, etc. Yeah. There's a lot of great resorts that you can go and stay in, all within 8, 10, 12 minutes of Disney.
Yeah. There's so much choice. And talking of TimeShare, it's one of those things that DVC have announced that they're splitting off from RCI now.
Oh, are they?
They're going to Interval, I think it's called.
Oh, okay. Don't know that.
So I've not heard of them, but apparently they used to partner with them in the 90s. So there's a mixture of forums whether people think it's a good move or not. But
people have a perception of TimeShare as well, and that's the other thing. It's always had a negative. More in perhaps our generation, going back to the Tenerifes, the Gran Canarias of this new pop band, they were everywhere. And it's it's the same, but it is very different the way that they tackle it. And there is a high-pressured sell element to it. I know it's not for everybody. I just always go into those breakfast meetings thinking, these guys are here and they are, first off, they're trying to give you something, whether it's, free park tickets or a breakfast. Or they're giving you something, irrespective if it costs. Yeah. And these guys that are trying to sell it aren't on wages either. They're on commission.
So they need to sell something.
You just kind of have to accept it, go open-minded, and make a decision yourself on the facts of what the resort is, what you get. For us, back in 1998, it was a no-brainer. Sorry, I feel I've crashed a question here, but
no,
that's what we do.
Yeah.
I just think that, for us back then, we were a couple. It was our first time out there, and we certainly had no intention of buying TimeShare, and everything just sort of slotted in. But I could see what the future potentially looked like with TimeShare.
I think until you crunch the numbers, you don't know whether it works well for you. And I think that's what
we found.
Took us 2-3 years to think, actually, why are we spending this amount of money to Disney when we could be doing our DVC? If we're spending that money anyway, we'd do it a much cheaper way for us. That works better for us.
What DVC is, again, I'm not sure now how I would, if I was just in a straight race between what we've got and what DVC is, which way I would actually go, because there's pros and against both ways.
There are.
For 20 odd years of experience of what we've done and how we've made it work, it's been very much the right decision for us. So.
It's interesting because I was talking to someone that if we have decided to ditch our DVC, the price we bought it for was $84 a point. It's now resale for $165 a point.
Wow.
Now that is one significant advantage to DVC over any other timeshare, is that you've always got a better resale value. I think in general timeshare, in most instances, it's a case of walk away and back. But I do think, I'm involved in a couple of sort of forum groups, Facebook groups, etc. And there is always an interest in Orange Lake because of its proximity and the group it's in with the holiday sort of in group. So there is a small tangible value, but it's not like there's always a direct point value for you guys with DVC, and you've
always you've got the Disney name on it, and everyone's going to go, I'll go with that because they've been on site before, and that's probably how we sort of got into it. But
it was that we got into it.
I think, as with most holidays, and we'll probably talk about this later, is that there's always a fit for someone to choose what way they book and how they do their holidays, whether it's through timeshare, travel agents, DIY. You can make the trip what you want it to be, whether it's a mix of on-site and off-site. We've done a mixture of on-site and off-site before, and at the minute, because of DVC, we like just being on-site.
Doesn't mean we'd never not go to off-site again.
I think as well, if there's anybody listening and you're part of the Wafflers Arms, which is our Facebook group, drop us a line. Just get in touch with it if you want to know more about timeshare within the Orlando area. Because actually it'd be a really good Wafflers Wednesday in the new year, and we can get Neil and Karen back on and just talk about that whole process of timeshare, because I don't think, certainly from, we had the DVC point of view, which very much when I think we had Mickey Scousers actually started talking to you guys about DVC, and you nearly had me sold on that one. But also the timeshare bit intrigues me simply because I know what Neil and Karen have actually been able to enjoy and how it's actually sort of enhanced their trips, and we'll probably get onto that shortly. But I think get in touch with us, guys. Get in touch with either messages on Facebook, whatever. If you want a show in the new year about timeshare, we'll get these guys back on, and we can talk a little more about.
I think timeshare scares people. It's that word that just goes to me. I don't want to do it.
Scares me, and I think that it would be great because you guys have been involved in this for a long period of time. So I feel that you're going to come at this with a more of a reassurance and take away that fear for people. So there we go. That's maybe something for the future. Well, let's get finished on the Carousel question.
Okay.
Let's get cracking on with the show. Come on, who's got the next question?
I think I've got the next one. Wishes, happily ever after, or illuminations?
Wishes, 100%. 100%. I could fill up now thinking about it.
Wishes was special, but I feel like I'm saying the same things. It's evolved and it's changed and it's ducked and dived, but Illuminations in its original format for me, what it finished up, the way it died again, me and John have spent many a conversation about it, and it was, I from a photography point of view, I loved taking pictures of it, and I have queued up on New Year's Eve, probably at midday for my spot. So I love the spectacle, but the emotions, the way that finished, that show in the end wasn't there for me. But I'm with you on Wishes, but Happily Ever After, I think, gave just a little bit edge more for me. Again, the photography element to it. I love the light that they show on the castle. And I know everybody's kind of written off the music at times with it just being sort of, I still you can't help yourself singing to it. And I think again, if it comes back down to that one question of what you can only watch one, again for me it'd be Happily Ever After.
Holiday Wishes was special.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is all the way for me.
Yeah.
And our famous final question. Finding Nemo or Festival of the Lion King?
It's an easy one.
No pressure.
No pressure as John's up there.
I know how they're going to answer this, so yeah. I'll admit defeat now.
Not for me, John. I am with you all day long. I love both shows. I just love Nemo that little bit more. And it is only a little bit more, but I just feel with...
So close.
I just love the music in Nemo. I mean, I know it's, it's not the Lion King, music, but I just love the words. I love the originality to it all. The actors are brilliant. I'm not dissing.
No.
But I'm not like John's family that, would just put a day in Animal Kingdom to just
watch it on repeat.
Watch it again.
Play around. Reserve seats and just stick it in. But no, for me, it's Nemo just.
Yeah, it's me. I like Nemo too. Yeah.
So there you go.
We're outvoted this time.
Yeah, that's intriguing. Yeah, I'm interested in that because actually, I think years ago, I think you guys were both massive fans of Festival of the Lion King. So my constant nagging over a period of time has obviously worked. So just a bit of subliminal messages to everybody else out there.
It possibly is in some way that I got to see it from your point of view, and steadily it kind of gets under your skin a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, I know it would take a fair bit of time, but if you ever went back through each show and actually now started to add up, do you know what the split is? In terms of Lion King, from guests?
I have a feeling Lion King might just pip it.
I think it's only just by one or two, I think, yeah.
Maybe we will go back at some point.
Maybe what we'll do is I'll sort it out by Friday's show, and maybe on our Christmas live, we can put it into the comments and do a live and see
live results
and see overall.
Yeah. And as well, this is probably a good time to just plug next month's Shares of Waffle. I can't announce who we've got, but that might also be one on the Finding Nemo front. And I'm not going to say any more, but we have a prospective guest for next month, which could be very exciting. There you go. I'm saying nothing until we actually have it right.
And see if I'm right.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Okay.
Ooh.
If I'm right.
You need to text me now. Hey, thank you so much for answering that. Do you know something? It's amazing, isn't it? You get so many questions that we've heard so many times, and every single time there's other conversations and there's a shared waffle that sort of evolves from these questions. And it was amazing to listen to some of your answers. So thank you both very much indeed. And we're going to try to keep it very much on task certainly for the rest of the show, because actually I want to just delve a little bit deeper, because you've touched upon little things that from when the kids were younger and stuff. So when did your Disney journey begin? Where did it all start for you guys?
1998, December 1998, 30th of December.
Yeah, that's when we went.
I didn't know the exact date.
We went with another couple, and we were going for this once in a lifetime holiday.
I had no actual idea, really. I've got to say, I never grew up on Disney. I just grew up on football. So I didn't really, I knew there was something out there, but I'd never researched. It was our friends. She'd been about 10 years earlier. So even if you think about 1998 back to 88, things changed an awful lot for her as well. But she was the one that was like, we're going to do, because we'd been on a few holidays with them to, the Mallorcas and such. And they
she's not in the army, but she's very regimental.
And I can remember actually that first time going out and actually taking the mick out of her, because she'd got this sort of, itinerary set up, and she'd got this whole schedule for each day. And yeah, we laughed at her. We several times laughed at her, I think, through it. But yeah, you kind of get to that in the end, don't you? That you've got, even now, after 20 odd times going, we still will do an itinerary to make sure that we don't miss, and that comes from her. It's not laminated. It's not, but it's to make sure that we don't miss things either. That some of the things that we really want to do, and we change for rain, or we change for because you're tired. We have the schedule, so at least we can go, well, we've still got that to do. So, but so it goes back to 1998.
And we stayed, just at the very bottom of...
Sorry, I'm going to cut across. The first few days we stayed on Disney, we stayed in Caribbean Beach. And we then stayed, so we had 4 nights on Caribbean Beach. We then had a week in somebody else's timeshare. It was our first introduction to RCI. We stayed on the 192, and then we had 3 nights in All-Star.
Yeah, end of the holiday, we needed cheap and cheerful.
I think it was movies.
It was movies.
But our plan at that time, and again, we were being led, was to have a few days on Disney, to then take a week off site and go and do the Universal, SeaWorld, NASA, etc., and then to come back onto Disney for the last couple. And it was a perfect scenario, except we bought a timeshare in the middle of it. And that all came about, a little story, but we came out of Disney. We got a taxi from Disney over onto the 192, and obviously paid a few dollars for that. And then we decided we wanted to go out for a nice American steak. So we ordered a taxi. It came, and we just said, we'd like to go to International Drive, and we'd like a steakhouse. I think it was Charlie's, was it? He took us to. Never been since, but we had a great night, to be fair. And then we paid again coming back. And steadily we thought, wow, we might as well get car hire. So the following morning, we came out of where we were staying in this townhouse, and literally across the road was a tourist information centre. So we thought, go in there and book a car. And whilst we were in there, we were invited to the tour. And we saw it as
free breakfast.
Free breakfast and free SeaWorld. Yeah. And we thought, okay, that'll do us. We're on a budget.
Yep.
And the rest of it was history, as they say. So for us, it didn't start with a mouse. It started with a tourist information centre.
What a lovely way of describing it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's kind of evolved, though, since when the kids turned up. And, I think certainly going back in time, I think it was at 2008, when we first met you guys out there. And it's kind of, for us, it was our first time with the boys to meet you guys and actually have that friendship go from that very first meeting was quite uncanny in some ways, because it was Illuminations cruise where I think you posted on a forum is like, would anyone like to share this? Or I'll have a bit of that. That's a shared cost. We get it. That sounds good to us. And it's just been that's been quite an amazing bit. But your kids have actually been to Disney quite a lot as well, and actually grown up and actually enjoyed quite a bit of time with my lads as well. Going around, the times they've been in the parks and actually just got off themselves. Well, certainly, as you mentioned earlier, while we went to, don't mention the social services, we went drinking around the world whilst they went off and annoyed characters.
We gave them suspended money. Off you go.
We just gave them bands and said, take our fast passes.
But it's changed. It must have changed for you guys because actually, I think that certainly that was even prior to meeting you guys. I was aware that you wrote a trip reports, and also you did highlights videos, which I thought was amazing. It was like being vloggers before vlogging was actually popular.
It's interesting that because I'm frustrated that I've never really been outwardly my personality to put myself on YouTube, but I've always had a camcorder going back to teenager. I can remember, very sad to admit this, but being a train spotter, and I used to go up and down the country with my best mate. We had a friend's camcorder, which back then, I'm sort of going like this because it was an over-shoulder VCR that I carried round, a proper big thing, strapped up to a camera, and we used to run up and down train stations and also. So I've always recorded a lot. I've got stacks and stacks and things going back, as I say, for what would be then in the 90s, early 90s, late 80s probably. So I just wish I had the foresight in the early days of YouTube to start. And I've always been sort of a key, what's the name? Ben, Emma, and Phil. When they were on the Dib doing their first videos, 2008, 9. I mean, I was always amazed at sort of the quality he was doing. And I've always we've always done a vlog. I've got them all that the kids have watched are all on hard drives. And I've always kind of been tempted, but they're so out of date now that people wouldn't want to watch. You might find a snippet in something like the
one you did about Katie. You never do.
But that's what John said about the highlights. You pick certain things out, just put a 3 or 4 minute video up on the Dib. But doing a whole sort of reel of it, I've just never, and I think we've missed the boat on that now. I don't think vloggers, but the kids have had some fantastic memories sitting back year after year watching them. And I think for anybody that does it and sort of gets into that cycle of going on a regular basis, what we found with it was, with any Disney holiday, you've always got that great big build up to it, which is fantastic. Everybody's excited, planning. And finally you get there, then you enjoy this fantastic time. But if you've had videoed it properly and you're putting it together, you then relive it all again whilst you're editing it. Yeah. And then once it's edited, you relive it again. And then hopefully you're at least coming round
to your next one.
Next one. I mean, what you say about things have changed. I mean, obviously, again, that TimeShare, I can still picture going round on my tour on the back of a golf cart, the sun's shining. I mean, they get you in the perfect condition. And all the time, obviously, you don't know what your life's going to look like from there. You don't know how many kids you're going to have or whatever. But for me, it was always about, I need to come back here regular with my family, whether that's my kids, my parents, my brother, anybody and everybody, family, friends that wanted to go, let's do this. So we were fortunate with Reese. I think he was 4 months old the first time we took him.
And your mum and dad.
And then, so he's 21 now, and he's been pretty much every year and some. And then Katie, I think, was about 18 months when she first went.
Yeah. Katie couldn't talk because Reese did everything for her. We just point, and Reese would know. So we went on this holiday when she was about 18 months, and she was so quiet and shy. And the first word she said was Minnie. Minnie. And she ran after Minnie. She actually broke free from her brother.
And I think that's that video you talk about, a highlight video of You're Never Too Young. Yeah. I think that's a question that probably, you've had, John, several times. What age should we take the kids? And I want them to be of an age where they do this or an age where they do that. And my answer has always been, you're never too old, you're never too young. There's something for everybody at every layer all the way through. And there's things that you can do when you're young that you can't do when you're old. And there's things you can obviously do as they grow. And like your boys, they've evolved to be able to do the big rides. And
it changes significantly, and it changes so much as you actually enjoy it. You think back to them first few times and how different it was to the last time we went. It's magical either way.
It's magical. Absolutely. And in the first lockdown as well, version 1, we did rewatch our videos.
I actually took the opportunity in that lockdown. John's on his way. Look, he's left. We did take the opportunity to actually go back through the taped versions that never made it to hard drive, and actually start to dump them onto a hard drive. And again, just seeing like in Epcot, a parade round will showcase that I think at some point I'd kind of forgotten. And then you're watching this old video there, and it's like, wow, that's Will Showcase.
You get so used to like your recent trips of like what you've seen. When you look further back, it's like, no, I can't believe that happened.
Absolutely.
And it's like parades in Animal Kingdom I've seen, and it's like I don't remember anything like that.
Because by the time we started going, they'd stopped. Same with the ones at Epcot.
Yeah.
The one at Epcot was just incredible, though. And it really was that whole Tapestry of Nations part of it. Yeah. When you actually go and you walk around World Showcase now, you actually wonder how on earth everyone managed to just squeeze in to allow that parade route to actually happen. It's quite uncanny, and they managed it. And I'd still love to see it come back. Don't get me wrong, but actually, you think about how much, and it was such a detailed parade with so many cast members involved in it. It was just, if you haven't seen it, have a look on YouTube. It's well worth having a look at.
Yeah.
It's all about making those memories. There's like most of our film videos and photos that we've got. I think on our first trip, I didn't realise that we took about 2,000 photos. I was just,
and only about 3 of them were with us.
I don't take the family, but I take the thousands. I let Photo Pass take the family, and
we didn't have Photo Pass, so there's about maybe in total 5 pictures of us on our honeymoon.
Yep.
Oh.
Oh wow!
That's one we paid. 2 of them we paid.
2 of them we paid for. Yeah.
It was like Hard Rock Cafe and
a Universal one, I think.
Yeah.
I was going to mention, photographs is probably quite I know you've spoken about it earlier, but it's such a subject close to your heart, Neil. And I think, Karen, you and I have had a conversation in the past to the fact that, you get to the end of a day, you go down the relaxing route, have a nice chilled out evening in your timeshare, while Neil just disappears out to like sort of different parts around Walt Disney World to just take nighttime photos. And it is, you mentioned it before, it's turned into something that's quite a passion. But I know, Becca, you're a keen photography fan as well. So we always did say that if we ever got a chance to speak to Neil, then you'd get a chance to ask him about his photographs.
Yes. What's your favourite sort of area of Walt Disney World to photograph?
I think it always comes back down to fireworks for me, as I said a little bit earlier, and it doesn't really matter which park. I just love capturing fireworks. But I think in terms of sort of picturesque, it's always, again, it's Epcot because there's so much going on. But it also comes back to, I know you guys have talked about this an awful lot, and the big thing that because of photography, I think, but taking in the detail, going slower, is something that I've now managed to practice for a good number of years. And once you do that, there is so much to photograph. But as I say, for me, it all started off with the fascination of taking pictures of fireworks. And it all comes back down to the dip, and it all comes back down to a member on there. I'm not really active on the dib anymore, but there used to be a young lad on there called Ben H. I'm not sure whether you remember him, John.
I do, yeah.
Phenomenal with his photos. And we actually met him in 2008. It came full circle a bit for me, that. But seeing his firework pictures, I was always in awe of how on earth have you done that? And that then gave me the interest in buying a decent camera and starting. And since then, obviously spent an awful lot of money updating gear. But I can't get into photography when I'm back. I mean, we live in a beautiful part of the world with mountains and sea and various other things. And there's so much to photograph, but it doesn't interest me the way that Disney does. So my camera gear tends to sort of back up and get dusty and then come out again when
we're in the exact same boat.
Oh, exactly the same boat. I actually traded my DSLR camera in for the vlogging camera because I wasn't using it anywhere but at Disney. And so it just...
You still wish you had it, though, now.
I still wish I had it.
Only on the Safari.
Especially on the Safari.
Yeah.
And I will get another one at some point.
I've been before now to set up for, say it's Magic Kingdom, I'll have 2 tripods side by side with 2 DSLRs with different lenses, focusing in on slightly different things, just so I can double up on the amount of photographs I'm taking throughout the night. And I'll be sat there with the triggers and taking longer exposures on one or tight, and it just means, as I say, that I can, when I come back, I've got double the amount of photos to look through. But it's funny because I only have a certain window in which I enjoy editing them, and then I tend to find that the blues kick in again, and I start to get to a point where I don't edit. So unless I'm editing while I'm there and editing in the short period when I come back, I tend to find that I've got hard drives full of, as you say, thousands and thousands, probably over 30,000 photos, I would say.
And that's why you need another lockdown to have
let's just not have
another
one.
No, we've had too many.
Let's hope not.
But I just wish, again, like the vlogging, like YouTube, I wish I'd kind of got a little bit more into promoting them somewhere. I've got a little bit of an Instagram, but again, it'll be the same thing. I'll post on it for a while, and then I just don't post because I'm upset that I'm not there.
Yeah,
it's the reminders. Like, it's like I could have been there. I remember being there.
Once I get a countdown again, I might then start. I don't know. Well, you have countdown twice, and I didn't do it. So
it'll happen one day. It does.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah,
6 apparently was the lucky number for us. So
yeah. Hopefully, you'll get there a bit before 6.
So yeah.
So we've talked about your love of Disney. We've talked about how much you've travelled. We've talked about how you've looked at different places to stay. And then something that's kind of happened in the past couple of years where you've kind of decided you're going to start up this travel agency business. And actually, you've become the very first partners of our show, which for anybody listening, this is why these guys are on. You know, they've been such big supporters of us that we're going to be able to support them, obviously.
Thank you.
But you've started this thing. How has that all come about, and what is it? Go on, tell all of our listeners and all those watching on YouTube.
It hasn't kind of just happened. It's been something that we've wanted to do for a long time, and again, we're not getting massively deep in the past, but in 2000, I left full-time employment to try in the travel industry. Unfortunately, it was about 3 months before 9/11, and we just couldn't get things going. As you can imagine, flights cancelled, everything everywhere, and we persevered for a while. And in the end, we realised that we have to do something else, which was then into a proper mainstream business, which we still have and still run, and it's very much at the forefront. It's not in the background, but we also realised that we're getting on. Some quicker than others, but sorry, boy. We realised that we wanted to sort of revisit that. So it was something a few years ago. We made a conscious decision that we would try and get our business into a kind of area whereby I could perhaps take a little bit more time away to put into something else, and trying to find the right opportunity. And over the years, over the 20 years, as I'm sure all of you guys have had, is you've always had somebody come to you and say, you go to Florida, out with. And for many, many years, we've put together schedules and holiday, formats for people. And obviously you do it out of friendship, you do it out of love, etc. And you put together this, and so many people always say to you, you should do that for a living. And in the end, that's what we said, well, that's what we would like to do. So it's still free of charge to everybody we work with, but we're in a fortunate position that we can work on commissions with the likes of Disney, etc. So we can add value to you, to anybody in terms of planning a holiday. We can go into as much detail as somebody needs, which I think for a first-time traveller more than anybody is key, to be able to, there's a lot of BS in booking a Disney holiday. There's a lot that goes around that doesn't need to do. And I think sometimes having somebody on your side that can cut through all of that and say, let's part that, let's deal with this, let's deal with that, and come up with different, based on our own experiences as lovers of Disney World. So we're not just Disney World travel agents. We have something like 450 suppliers, so we're able to offer a weekend break in the UK, around the world cruise, etc. So we don't just pigeonhole ourselves in Disney, but that's where we consider ourselves to be if anybody can say the word expert, that's where I feel. And I don't mean that in a, I'm always one that tries to play down. I've never pushed ourselves forward to say we have this knowledge, that knowledge, but it's there if somebody wants to pick on us and, ask.
Yeah.
So that's involved into that. And hopefully that's the long-term plan for us, is that we can retire into a full-on travel business, and maybe the other business is for the kids.
That's really exciting. It really is, and I think it's something as well. And I think this is where you've already alluded to it as regarding your video and not being at the forefront and not being there. And actually, what you've managed to do is make really good use of social media so far in getting yourselves out there on Facebook, getting yourselves out there on Instagram, just as a means of trying to promote what is obviously sort of a passion for travel that's in its infancy, and actually being able to organise other people's holidays.
Yeah, I think that's, as I say, I think from our perspective is, I want to come across to anybody watching or listening is that we're just as enthusiastic about your trip. We are, if we could, we'd be on it with you. We'd be, we would be booking every available dining reservation for you, and everything that we can possibly do, because we will live that with you. Anybody that books it, we would live that holiday through you as well. So it's a double win.
Yeah. And I think with so much uncertainty that everyone's had with travel the past 2 years, just having one person to rely on or to talk to about your holidays.
Absolutely.
There's the rules of travel change frequently, especially as they have the past few weeks since we got back from Florida.
Yep.
It is. It's an ever-changing playing field. The goalposts move daily, and trying to keep up with everything. But that one point of contact, as you say, Ben, is crucial. I think over the last couple of years, the amount of hours that people collectively must have spent on hold with call centres, some successful, some not, but being able to go. I think, I'm not saying travel agents are the be-all and end-all, because for many years I've done the DIY route. I've taken the risks. I've booked this, booked that, booked the other, and done it all. And, we've been successful. And I'm not saying that won't continue to happen, but I think having somebody to sort of take that strain for you is massive. And let Karen sit on the dealing with, the back routine sometimes, rather than somebody else spending hours themselves. Let us get on with it for you if there does need to be a change or whatever the case may be. But
I mean, the main thing is we're not just 9 to 5, and it proved that over a bank holiday weekend, I was there and I managed to get something sorted.
I think that's the other thing, as I say. If you book through, let's say you do it all independently, and all of a sudden you've got an issue with something, you're not getting the mobile number of somebody within that office that can deal with it, but that's what you're getting. Yeah. And with then our connections through, you're shortcutting things in many ways. So there's a lot of benefit to it. It's not, I appreciate it's not for everybody, but I'm sure there are people out there that we would be able to help massively.
I think our first trip was a package holiday, but since then we've always looked at every different trip as like, okay, we're going to compare DIY, we're going to compare package, okay, all the different sort of parts that you put together what you want on your trip, and then you just work out what works best for you. And our next trip might work out better as a package than it might because we want to do more off-site and on-site, and
who knows.
So
each their own.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's good. So where can people find you online then? Let's share that with everybody listening.
Well, I'm lit up because I was.
In the main, we are most active on Facebook. We do actually have a website, portwoodtravel.com, which kind of has everything as a central point. But the majority of our activities is on Facebook. We actually have a page, which is at Portwood Travel. The page is more of a notice board kind of scenario rather than posting holiday offers. It's kind of like a central point. And under the page, we've then got a few groups. We have a general holiday group, which is Portwood Travel holiday offers. But then we also go into a bit more specific. We have a group which is Portwood Travel Orlando Deals, and we have Portwood Travel Cruise Deals. And the reason we've when we first started, we put everything under the holiday offers group. But it's not for every, we're posting on there quite often. We're posting deals to, to Crete, to Cyprus, to cruises all around, etc. So sometimes it gets a little bit lost. And we felt that one of the two main inquiries we were getting, other than the general holiday, was obviously Disney or Orlando, because it's not just Disney, as we all know. There's so much else that goes on there, and also on cruises. So we tried to sort of separate it a little bit and actually have dedicated groups for those two areas. So we post on a regular basis into all three groups. I try not to spam, but it's hard. Sometimes a great deal comes along and it's like, but the beauty of a group, as you guys know, you can pick it up, you can drop it, you can get involved in the community, you can have a chat this week, so that's why we've done it like that, is to sort of, give everybody an opportunity to duck in and out. If you're interested in Orlando deals, just get involved in that group. If you're interested in everything, get involved in it all. But the main thing is, I think, to take away, whilst we post a lot of offers in there, we're always searching and finding things. We also understand is that we might put a 7-day offer out to Mauritius, but that time of year isn't for you, or that particular hotel isn't for you, or that flight time isn't for you, etc. And the main sort of message is that whatever it is that you want, all we're doing is throwing you a little something. This is something you could do, but if that's not for you, let's just create your itinerary of exactly what you want. And it's as bespoke as it needs to be. Mm-hmm. So they're the Facebook. We are on Twitter under Portwood Travel. Very little activity, I must admit. And we're also on Instagram as Portwood Travel. So hopefully between those areas, you can find us.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And we're always available on text, on phone.
And WhatsApp, it's easier. Yeah.
What we'll do, we'll put a site on a page on our website so we can have all your details and everything on, so everyone can go to gbmickeywaffle.com and find it all on there as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Oh, top notch.
So after all the discussions of recent shows, we've also asked our guests to imagine you're hosting a dinner party. This one will be a Christmas one. You have one guest of honour, already assigned to their seat, Mr. Walt Disney. Mm-hmm. You can invite 5 others to the meal to enjoy. Those guests can be any character within parks, films, so any Disney World, MCU, Star Wars, Pixar are all included, any cast member or Disney personnel, employee, dead or alive. So who are you inviting over?
I'm guessing there's going to be no Marvel characters.
Probably no Star Wars either.
Oh, God.
You know what? We could, because we could have Han Solo, because he could also be Raiders of the Lost Ark as well, so we could get 2 for 1.
I think, I don't know. Again, obviously I've heard this question many times, and I often think that some people's answers are just fantastic and blow me away. I think sometimes some of the reasons that people give, the depth of knowledge in terms of Disney as a company, far outweigh. We are enthusiasts to the parks, but some people go really deep into it. So I'm not sure whether it's going to be a fantastic. I would have to have Roy. I think. I think for the fact that he saw everything through, and he's very much an unsung hero in a lot of things. I'd love to have him there as much as the main guy. I think, again, keeping with parks, the only character that ever springs to mind is Joe Rody. I just think for what he did with, I think if somebody is to take something from concept into vision and produce it, he's been phenomenal with Animal Kingdom, with Everest, with the Safari, he's brought everything so much to life in that sense. And I also love the fact that his appearance is everything that Disney is against. And I'm always kind of blown away with that. That anybody coming in, you can't have a tattoo, you can't do this, and then this guy's got everything hanging off his ears, and I love that. I don't know. I'm struggling. Left? 3 more.
Well, we'd take 2 sets.
No, we got 5 guests.
Let me see.
You've got Pixar in there, so you could choose Pixar.
Oh, okay. But I was just going to say that, and I think if I was having bringing characters from the party, it'd have to be Mickey as well.
He'd have to,
You'd have to have the main guy there, I think. But I'm struggling. I don't know. It's always been one that I've heard, and I'm always like, God, I don't know who I'd pick.
Yeah.
I think for the fun element, I'd have to have Captain Jack Sparrow.
Okay, yeah. For the fun and for the rum.
Yeah.
I just think,
yeah, you've always had a crush on him.
Yeah, as the character, not Johnny Depp, but Captain Jack. And I'm just trying to think of
really bad answer, this, isn't it? Because I can't think.
No, not at all. There's no right or wrong answer. That's
I'm going to get that. But as I say, so there's some very intellectual answers to this, and we're bringing Mickey Mouse to the table.
You're not the first.
I was going to say, I think I brought Mickey Mouse to the table as well.
At one point, someone brought their dad to the table.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe we should bring John after all these years, and you could join Walton Roy at top table. I don't know. I don't.
And then for a bit of girl power, it would have to be Tinkerbell. There you go. I know. She'd be floating around, flying around.
Yeah.
Getting ready to set the fireworks off.
Yeah, poor answer, I'm afraid, but
it's a good answer.
We don't host any parties anyway. We're boring.
Oh no, not at all. No. And I think it's really nice because I think you've got a real nice balance there between sort of the traditions of Walt and Roy, and even the characters, and actually Joe Rohde is such a pivotal part of Imagineering at Walt Disney World and throughout sort of Disney parks throughout the world as well. So, now good choice. I like that. I really do. But do you know something, guys? It's been such a pleasure sharing a waffle with you, and to actually have the opportunity to get you on the show, to actually have a chat. You know, we missed our annual sort of trip to Manchester this year, so hopefully my family will get a chance to meet your family very, very soon in the new year.
Yeah. But can we just stay in Florida again?
Yeah, that's quite an embarrassing thing. I think we've actually met more in Florida than we have in the UK, which is quite a scandalous thing. But I think that's going to be something that, you know, even as a group of wafflers, you know, we're all going to be very guilty of that too. So it just sort of keeps going. But can we just, on behalf of the whole Great British Mickey Waffle team, can I just wish the two of you and your family just a very Merry Christmas, and thanks for joining us, and best of luck with Portwood Travel, and it's just a nice opportunity to have very first partners on the show. So hopefully that'll go from strength to strength. Your phone will be red hot with text by the end of this show as well. So
I have switched it off.
Thank you very much for having us on. I really, really appreciate the chance just to chat. I know we've known you for a long time, but it's nice to actually see Ben and Becca, and they've become famous over there.
That's just weird for me. Very strange.
It's strange we're on people's TVs over the UK.
Yeah. All the best as well to you guys and to the rest of the wafflers. And obviously love to Alison and the boys as well too.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Much appreciated. And I think for everyone who's listening, just thank you and Merry Christmas to you. I'm just going to have a shameless plug, right? Not for the live show. I'll let Ben do the live show in a minute. But actually, on last Sunday, Ben and Becca released the very first part of the vlog on the Great British Mickey Waffle YouTube channel. So if you haven't already had your phone ping up that very first sort of that first voyage where they were sort of inundated by requests for the media stars that Ben and Becca became on the very first part of their trip was quite outstanding. So yeah, go and check out that. I know you don't like plugging yourself, but
the funniest thing that happened was we landed at JFK, and then my phone was ringing, and it was BBC News.
There you go.
And it was like,
happens all the time, that Ben. Happens all the time.
Oh, you want to know what's worse? I went to go and get a drink, come back, he's on the phone. He passes the phone over to me and
they want to
tells
talk
me,
to you?
yeah, they want to talk to you. I was like, I've got no idea who I'm talking to.
And then afterwards, she was, who was that? Oh, it's just BBC News.
Probably that's not to that.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a wonderful vlog. So do check that out. Also check out our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at GB Mickey Waffle. And go on, Ben. What's happening on Friday? Because we're going from this show coming out on Wednesday, and we are going to do something quite wonderful to celebrate Christmas.
We've got a very busy week, haven't we? So it's coming up on Friday the 17th at 8:30 p.m. So that's UK time. So that's 3:30 in the US.
Yep.
We have our Wafflers Assemble Live Christmas edition, and this is going to be our final ever Wafflers Assemble Live.
Oh, wow.
But we're going to carry on with our Wednesday shows. But our Friday one, we're going to go out in style. We've got guests. We've got Secret Santa, which I know is going to be a lot of fun. And there's so much
there might
else.
Be some games.
Oh, there might be some games. There's going to be some videos. We can meet up, catch up with some friends, and just having a nice
general
time.
Christmas party.
Yeah,
Cool.
And bring as much food and drink as you want.
Cool. Oh, the alcohol's not free.
No, it's like the Wafflers Arms. It's virtual.
Just like the Wafflers Arms, it's bring your own.
Yeah.
Brilliant. We'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can find us on YouTube, and it'll be on our Facebook page. So I put all those links in the show notes.
Cool.
That's wonderful. And so that brings us to the end of all of our shares of waffle for 2021. Do come and check back with us for January. I'm going to say it one more time. We may have the most amazing guest coming in January. Do check it out. I'm sure it will be all over our socials by the time we get that one recorded, but I've got a really good feeling about it.
It depends if we've recovered from
I think
Friday.
From the last show. That could be something as well, couldn't it? But yeah, Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you for listening. And as always, waffle on.
Waffle on.
Waffle on.
Oh.